Saturday morning, the Experts program kicks off here on Power Talk Radio, and Luis Alvarez, the CEO of the Alvarez Technology Group, is joining us right now. Luis, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Mark. How are you?
Doing pretty good. So we're going to talk about ChatGPT today. First off, what is ChatGPT? And then for those who don't know, what does the GPT stand for?
Great question. Well, ChatGPT is it's a natural language processing tool that's driven by AI technology, and it allows you to have like human-like conversations with a computer. We're used to using search engines, like you go into Google and you search toaster ovens, and then not only will you be followed by toaster ovens forever, but you will get a list of where you can find toaster ovens or who sells toaster ovens. With ChatGPT, it's a more natural language interaction. So you go in and you have an area where you enter a query and you can say, hey, tell me how toaster ovens work. And rather than just pointing you to websites that you can read articles about toaster ovens, it will actually explain. It will go out and it'll search the internet and it'll come back and it'll say, okay, well, this is how toaster ovens work. This is when they were invented. This is what they cost in general and things like that. So it becomes a much more interactive and more friendly way to access technology and get information. And it's becoming highly popular. It has already, in the shortest amount of time in history, it has 100 million active users in less than 2 months, which is the fastest growing app in the history of apps, quite frankly.
That's amazing. And then as far as like when I go online and I'm at some business and they invite me to chat with them if I have a question about something, like online help, is that oftentimes a chat GPT tool or is it a real person?
No, often, in fact, most cases, the first interactions that you have with one of those chat environments is going to be a series of automated responses to the query that you make, right? So you'll go in and say, hey, I'm curious about my invoice. And so it will look at a bunch of canned responses and say, oh, what exactly about your invoice are you interested in? Do you want to pay it? Do you want to know what the balance is? Whatever the interaction is. ChatGPT is that on steroids. So in effect, it becomes a way for companies in particular to eliminate the need for those tier one or a kind of clerk type or clerical type of jobs, because ChatGPT can do that. In fact, I was just at a conference last week where the topic of the day for every vendor that was there was how they were going to integrate ChatGPT into their technology to make it much more effective, much more automated, and to cut costs. Because if you can eliminate human beings, you can cut a lot of costs. So we see a lot of low-level jobs that have been traditionally done by clerical people disappearing over the course of the next few years as more and more companies integrate ChatGPT in their daily operations.
Does it cost anything to use ChatGPT right now? Like, who's picking up the nickel on this thing?
That is a really good question, because of all of this conversational stuff takes computing power, and it's really, really expensive to just talk to ChatGPT. And right now, the people that are backing it, which is largely Microsoft and a couple of other companies, the actual name of the company that built ChatGPT is OpenAI, but they have a lot of backing from some big tech companies, and they're footing the bill with the idea that they're going to draw us in to the point where when a business, like let's say we decide to integrate ChatGPT into our service offerings to give our clients another way to ask for help, well, we're going to be paying for that. So the consumers will probably have access to ChatGPT for free for a long time, if not forever, but it'll be the business community that integrates the OpenAI technology into their offering that will really be picking up the tab and doing it very quickly based on what I saw at the conference last week.
Okay. Now, I note that going back to February 1st, there apparently is now a paid subscription version called ChatGPT Plus. What's the difference between that and the regular ChatGPT?
So when you subscribe to ChatGPT Plus, you get access, period. If you try to do it for free, if you go to chat.openai.com, which is how you can get to ChatGPT, if you're using the free version, it's limited by the number of users and queries that it can handle at any given time. So it's not unusual for you to try to ask a question. It'll say, hey, we're sorry, we're too busy right now. Come back later. Whereas with the ChatGPT Plus, which is $20 a month, you are always guaranteed access and always guaranteed the ability to interact with ChatGPT.
Now, this was invented by OpenAI, which is an AI research company. They launched ChatGPT towards the end of last year, November 30th of 2022. What about hacker incursions on it? Is this something that's already protected from hackers, or is it kind of a wide open architecture that's difficult to protect?
That is a really good question. And that is one of the biggest concerns that people have is, one, do hackers have the ability to get into the backend database and access our queries? And the answer, at least from what OpenAI says and their biggest backer, Microsoft, is no, that they have that pretty much protected. You can't get into it, but we've heard that story before. So we'll have to wait and see about that. But more importantly, the question that many of us are asking is, as we ask all these queries, it's kind of like, when you have an Alexa at home, they record all of those interactions, right? When you ask Alexa to do things for you or look things up. If I'm using ChatGPT to look things up and ask it questions, maybe some personal things that somebody gets access to, it could be used to blackmail me. Who protects that information from falling into the wrong hands? And that's a question that we don't have the answer to just yet.
Well, this is really interesting. We're going to keep an ear on this thing and see what's going on with it. We've got more about ChatGPT, particularly fake ChatGPT browser extensions invading Facebook. That's our Monday conversation beginning at 8:30 with Luis Alvarez here on Power Talk Radio. Online, it's alvareztg.com. At AlvarezTG is the Twitter handle. And Luis, the toll-free number for the I-Team.
Give us a call at 866-78-I-Team. That's 866-784-8326.